You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
Welcome to another episode of the Board Game Snobs. This is your primary host, Gaby, with me today. As usual, my primary guest host, Dan Hughes.
Oh yeah, Dan Hughes making a triumph. My volume's gone all funny. Making a triumphant return to the Board Game Snobs podcast. The voice that everybody was clamouring for. The voice that everybody wants. The voice that, let's face it, everyone wants to replace both Gaby and Jerry. It's Dan Hughes.
A Dan Hughes solo pod? Is that what everybody wants?
Yeah, that's what the audience is asking for.
Why don't you try that out?
I did once. No one downloaded it. So,
so there's your answers, sir.
It was my attempt at creative writing. I did a bit of
hubris.
prose.
Hubris is what that is called.
Yeah, that's my actual. Everyone thinks
Daniel
it's Hughes.
Instead of Hughes, it's hubris.
Daniel Hubris.
Daniel Clorecrest Hubris. Although now it's Daniel Mixtape Hubris, right?
No, Daniel, I made a mixtape Hubris.
I made you
a mixtape.
I made you a mixtape. Okay.
Yes. There is already a couple of games called Mixtape on the internet, on the Board Game Geeks, so we have had to differentiate ourselves somewhat.
All right, well, we can get into that later.
Yeah, because that's the only reason I've come on, to publicise my stuff.
I know exactly why. I'm like, hey, you want a podcast?
Tin pot podcast.
And you're like, I've just come in from a 12-hour shift, but sure, let me podcast. What else do you do with your life, Dan?
Very little. I design board games, it appears.
Your family doesn't want to see you when you come home? Like, why?
My family actively hides from me when I come home.
So, is it not dinner time? You didn't want to eat dinner? Okay, so quick question.
It's 9 p.m.
It's a Saturday. All right, do you work 6 days a week or what?
I work, well, my team works 7 days a week. And I work 12-hour shifts, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m.
But what do you work?
Whatever shifts. So each
week typically work 5 days a week, 40 hours?
No, 3 days a week. 3 days a week, 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
So
36 hours.
Sort of, yeah. Although it's less. If you really want to get into my timesheet, I can start getting them out.
I do. I want to see it. Clock in, clock out.
I think officially I get half an hour break, so it's actually 34 and a half hours. But then every fourth week I have to do another day. So in actual fact, this week I'm doing 4 shifts this week.
Well, that's not too shabby.
I recommend working either 3 days a week or 4 days a week to everybody. I'd much rather spend 12 hours at work than 5 days at work.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Although as a truck driver, there are no rules in America, so it's like they just run us 70 hours a week if they can. But it's been raining where I'm at for at least a month now, so things have been very slow.
Are your trucks not waterproof? Do they melt in the rain?
They are waterproof.
Surely you're allowed to go out in the rain in a truck.
Apparently they don't like, making roads and getting us stuck all the time in the rain. So,
right, okay.
Things have been very slow at this time of year. And also dodging tornadoes. A second tornado went through just the other day.
No one's interested in your tornadoes. It's drizzly in Huddersfield. People are far more interested in the drizzliness of the Huddersfield rain than tornadoes.
As they shepherd the sheep on your quaint roads, on your quaint cobblestone roads in the foggy rain. Yes, I know all about England. I watched, let's see, what did I watch?
All Creatures Great and Small.
All Creatures Great and Small. Absolutely wonderful show.
I'm
waiting
a wonderful
for
show.
season 3, is it?
Yeah. You should watch the old ones that were made in the 80s.
I have a hard time getting over the aesthetic. Just they look so 80s.
Yes, a little bit. But no, I've not seen the new season of All Creatures Great and Small, but my daughter loves it.
It's a fantastic family show.
I used to be massively into the books.
I did not know the show existed until I just happened to be looking for a Downton Abbey wannabe, because that's what us Americans equivalent? Is equivalent a word?
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Equivalent.
The James Herriot is autobiographical, so all that stuff happened.
Yeah, he's the vet, right? The new vet.
Yeah. So they're based on his autobiographies.
So All Creatures Great and Small, for those listening, is a show that takes place in a quaint, small British village in which this young fellow becomes a vet in 1930s England. And he's learning that, in small town life where everybody knows everybody, nobody wants this kid from the city coming in and taking care of their animals.
Sticking their hands up cows' bottoms.
That's like 90% of the show. Is his hand is up the rectum of some cow, sheep, something.
Yeah.
With those long shoulder-length gloves. Do you ever have to do that, Dan? You don't do that because you're a mind nurse, right?
I have cleaned feces this very week, in actual fact.
Really?
I'll have you know.
Why so?
Because there was feces on somebody, and I couldn't, in all consciousness, leave the house without making sure they did no longer have feces on them.
You're a good man. Just today, as you were angrily
awaiting, clean it off yourself, Gabby. You're meant to do that. That's meant to be your job.
When you were looking for, but this is all insider stuff on our Facebook groups. Your Facebook group, Sporadically Bored. You were looking for names of your publishing company for your upcoming game. I made a mixtape for you or something. You're looking for names.
I made you a mixtape. Going to Kickstarter soon.
And you're looking for a publishing name. You had all these these things related to Sporadically Bored, and I was desperately wanting to put you got to have the scat games in there, because y'all are very scatological in many of your discussions, as you were just a few minutes ago.
Poo-poo head games. That's what I want to call it.
Poo-poo publishing. There you go.
Publishing is pretty good.
Triple P.
Yeah.
3 large P's and just, the little poo-poo emoji. That's your publishing company right there.
It's difficult coming up with a publishing name, because you need to have a good publishing name, and it needs to have the domain, ideally. Not that who knows, I don't think we'll be doing loads of games, but you want the domain available, and it's difficult, and it can't be too scatological. Otherwise, I don't know.
Right. Since we've already mentioned it 2 times or 3 times, just go ahead. So Dan Hughes and Mike DeLizio of Sporadically Bored and Dice Tower are making a new card game. Go ahead, Dan.
It's a new card game. The theme is mixtapes. You are in the 80s and also 90s. But we'll go. That'll be revealed at a later point. You.
I expect Ricky Martin to be one of those cards.
Oh yeah. What did he sing again?
Boom, La Vida Loca.
La Vida Loca. That's right.
Da 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 da.
We're trying to work out if you're allowed to use the real names of artists and tracks.
I was wondering about that on your cards.
Because our thinking is that you can in Trivial Pursuit and things like that, and you can't copyright a band name and you can't copyright a song name, but you can trademark them.
I wonder if you could use the names, but now the album art might be a different thing.
Oh, no, you wouldn't have to use the album art. Yeah. That'd be probably copyrighted. So basically, you are a teenager, you have a crush, you want to make a mixtape. So this obviously dates people to the kind of 70s.
I had many unrequited crushes in my day.
Exactly, exactly. But the trick is that you want to make this mixtape for your crush to drop heavy hints that you're romantically interested in them. However, you also want to balance that with the need to have plausible deniability. So if you get a bad reaction from that mixtape, that you want to have the ability to say, no, I just made it you as a friend, blah, blah, blah. So you're balancing a mixture of romantic and what we call platonic songs on your mixtape. So the game's a push your luck set collection game where you're going to be getting cards with tracks on them, placing them into your mixtape, and basically it's a 20-minute filler. And actually, we're quite proud of it. And do you know what? I found it fascinating that, do you know how to make a board game, Gaby? This is a trade secret.
I do not.
You make a really bad one and then just keep working at it till it gets better.
Oh.
I think that's what happened with Core Request. That's what happened with this one. We made a game that was pretty dire and then just kept redoing it till it was better.
Keep working the edges. Keep softening those edges.
Exactly. Keep massaging it with your...
A massage.
The massage oil of careful thought.
Until, alas, it ends happily ever after.
A beautiful... Well, I wasn't going to go that road, to be honest.
I just said happily ever
You're never
after.
going to go to the Dice Town Network with that kind of attitude, Gaby.
So, okay, I'm really hoping in this game I made a mixtape for you. What's the name of it?
I made you a mixtape.
I made you
Idiot.
a mixtape. You.
Yeah.
How about I made a mixtape? Oh, but there's the whole thing of you, like...
Keep your nose out of our naming protocols.
It's because like, you're making it for your unrequited love. Okay, I get it.
On your crush. Well, you never know. It might be requited love. Who knows?
And so, at the end of the game, do you find out if it's requited or not?
Well...
I don't even know what requited means, Dan.
It means it's the opposite of unrequited. It is when... no, but you find out who the winner is by who scores the most points. You find out who made the best mixtape.
But you don't find out if your love is requited.
Well, let's say yes, you do. If you make the best mixtape, then you are the winner and your love is requited. And everyone else dies lonely spinsters.
Requite. Make appropriate return for. Interesting. So your love is returned back. Okay. Yes. I got that. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so in this game, I hope...
You've upgraded from your phone that you normally look at, and now you're looking at an iPad.
No, my wife bought a new iPad because...
Either that or you've shrunk significantly.
Because ours died. Hello? Visual humor for an audio podcast. So, in this game, I would hope that my personal tableau building is some sort of stereo-looking device.
It is.
A tape deck.
Well, the tape deck element comes in with the requited love and the romantic songs and unrequited songs, and that's like a graphic equalizer that you've got to keep in balance.
An equalizer. That's excellent, Daniel. Excellent.
Thank you. So they have to be both in balance, and if they're out of balance, you get minus points. So if you've got an imbalance there, that's minus points. And then the cards... What?
Who come up with the equalizer bit? Because that's genius.
Let's not say who came up with what idea. That way lies inappropriate credit.
Because that is that is genius. Okay, I like that.
That was my idea. I don't know.
Sure.
We're a partnership. We're a partnership. It was my idea. It was Mike's idea. Who knows? If it's a good one...
Whose name's going to come first? Dan Hughes or Mike DeLizio? That's the big question.
Mike DeLizio, because he needs a break. He's unheard of. He's unheard of within the board gaming. I'm nestling this little fledgling under my wing, and encouraging him to fly and soar like an eagle, like what I'm doing.
So, is it available to? I know you're playtesting like on Tabletop Simulator or what?
Yeah, it is actually on Tabletop Simulator now, but without any rules, and it's an old version. So we will be releasing it for... We're working on the rulebook at the moment, making it a relatively lean rulebook. So as soon as that's done, it will be available for people to playtest. And also, there's obviously a solo mode because Mike has a rep to thing. So yeah, but the other thing we're happy with is, and this was a suggestion by Mr. Ian O'Toole.
Name dropper.
When you lay your cards in a tableau, the tracks kind of, at the moment, this may change, tracks kind of line up like the cover, like when you're writing your mixtape songs. So it looks like the insert of a mixtape, and I think that's cool.
I got you. Sounds very clever, and I look forward to someday not purchasing it because... out of vindictiveness and the fact that I can't think of anything.
This is the packaging. That's the plan for the packaging. It comes in a cassette tape box.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Right. That's it. I wasn't here to do the sell. I was only here to help out a struggling minor podcast. That's what I joined for.
Whatever.
I listened to your Mark episode. It was good.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, Green Tank. Yes.
Green Tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
What colour tank are you on their podcast?
If they don't, since they hit the big time, Kellen doesn't. Maybe that's why he doesn't have me on. Kellen doesn't have small podcasts on anymore.
No. I'm the pigeon blood.
The only person he talks to is So Very Wrong Games and all these big pods. Shut up and sit down. Yeah, they don't. They don't.
They think they're so
so fancy.
Fancy dancy.
They are. They refuse to acknowledge it. But I said, they're the next. It's Shut Up and Sit Down. Dice Tower, Secret Cabal, and it's them. They have a large fan base.
No, I think you'll find it's sporadically bored. Then Shut Up and Sit Down.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Let's see those stats. Dan.
Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and
I think they bypassed them. Who won the Golden Geek? It was the Barrage.
Yeah, it was the Barrage, but
they bypassed everyone. I'm telling you, they've got many a listener.
Yeah, they do have listeners.
It may be due to the fact they have a well thought out, well worded. I think they write up like what they're going to talk about and discuss things very succinctly.
I disagree. I think because they had me as a guest on once. I think that's why they're successful.
That's what did it. That's what shot them to the top. Speaking of shots, Dan, did you know?
Oh my goodness. I forgot we had to do special facts.
Incoming segue. The CIA had a secret heart attack gun.
No, I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me. They had the whole trying to get psionic powers thing, didn't they? The men who stare at goats and stuff. How does a secret heart attack gun work? Does it kind of show you the prices of various Kickstarters and you just go, oh, keel over? $200 for a bunch of plastic? Oh, God.
No way. Does it come with minis?
That's it. Does it have a play mat? Is VAT included? Right, I think I'm probably...
Are there boards inlaid?
Spot UV printing.
Metal coins.
Right, go. How did the heart attack gun work?
It shoots a small poison dart.
Poisoned? That's a poison gun.
To cause a heart attack, it can penetrate clothing and leave nothing but a tiny red dot on the skin. The individual targeted for assassination. Now, this isn't you're not shooting them with a heart attack gun to make them sick. You're shooting them to assassinate them.
That's what the Russians did with those chemicals. I think that was an umbrella gun that shot a radioactive substance into that man's bloodstream, and he ended up dying. That was in the UK. That was a while ago now. A little bit of a while ago. It was a Russian defector, and the Russians poisoned him with radioactive material into his blood, shot from an umbrella, and he died because they couldn't get the radioactivity out of his bloodstream. So he died within, I think it was 3 or 4 days. And then there was another one where the Russians sent a poison to assassinate a Russian defector, and it also affected an innocent bystander. That was a big thing. That was only a couple of years ago.
Good grief. Wow. Very anti-Russian, Dan.
Well, I actually don't mind at the moment coming out and saying I do not agree with the Russian government. I think that's even within board gaming, that's a relatively safe stance to take.
I've been playing the Red Cathedral like nobody's business.
Have you? That's very problematic.
Okay. It said the individual targeted may feel as if bitten by a mosquito if they feel anything at all. The poisonous dart completely disintegrated upon entering the target. It quickly the poison denatures quickly. I don't know what denatures means.
It means kind of becomes undetectable. It no longer is the sum of its parts, so it turns into water and hydrogen and whatever.
That's why it says, so an autopsy is very unlikely to detect that the heart attack resulted from anything other than natural causes.
My granddad died from a heart attack. Do you think the CIA got him?
Maybe they got him. Was it in 1975 or before?
No, because I've met him.
Okay. So this was from a CIA U.S. Senate testimony in 1979 on rogue activities of the CIA. And it said it's only one of many James Bond-like. So MI5, so the British, you're guilty as well.
I don't know the difference. What's the difference between... I know the difference between them. I don't know which one's which. MI5... What? Right. Quiz. None of this facts.
Hot
Quiz.
shot, go ahead.
What's the difference between MI5 and MI6?
One came before the other. I would say 5 came before 6. I don't know.
MI5 is domestic spying.
Oh,
and MI6 is
overseas
foreign spying.
Are you a spy, Dan?
I'm not allowed to answer that question.
Well, poisonous dart coming your way.
Indeed.
Or maybe your dart will be the halitosis dart. I
think I got that a long time ago. Let's face it, no one would be massively surprised if I keel over with a heart attack. I think it's pretty...
the hemorrhoid ray has affected Daniel Hughes. It won't kill you. It just really affects your social life.
Well, I feel personally attacked. I don't come on here for my hemorrhoids to be insulted.
The jock itch gun has really come after Dan. I've cracked myself up on this one, I gotta say.
Yeah. Good job. One of us finds it funny.
Do you know what jock itch is? Is that an English phrase as well?
No, it's not really, no.
Oh, no. Really?
No.
That's basically, what is jock itch?
It's called crumpet crust over here.
Is it really?
No. Yes, Gar. No, it's not. No. It's just called a general groin fungal infection, I think. I don't know. I don't think we have a...
I've been shot with a crumpet crust cannon. Oh. Anyway, that's interesting.
It is. Well, yeah. Depending on your definitions. I play board games. Do you want to talk about board games? Have you played any board games?
I've played... Okay, yes, go ahead. I have several that I've played on app I want to discuss, but you go ahead.
Oh, that doesn't even count.
I count them.
I played Uninvited Guests. Have you heard of Uninvited Guests?
I have not.
It's Cluedo.
Which is Clue in America.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I apologise. It's Clue, but no board, and you just get multiple cards, and you get little bits of information, and you can trade these little bits of information with other people, trade the cards with other people, and then it's a kind of, you've got the Clue house in front of you, although it's not exactly the same, and then you can cross bits of information, and it's really good. It's a deduction game. It's really good. I don't like deduction games, but I quite like this one.
So logic deduction or social deduction?
Logic deduction.
What's the name of it?
Uninvited Guests.
Uninvited Guests?
No. Unwanted Guests. I can't remember.
Fantastic.
No one really listens to podcasts to get game recommendations anyway.
No,
I'm going to look it up.
Only the most popular ones do.
Awkward Guests.
I bet Barrage would have known the name of this game before they started speaking about it.
Do you know what? Barrage would have known the game. They'd have had it in the show notes, and if you deviated from their show notes, you'd have got an extremely stare.
Edit it out.
Yeah, edit it out. Me and Richard have both been on that podcast, and me and Richard both, the majority of our contributions were edited left on the cutting room floor because
Richard made it, and we haven't.
Richard's been on. The guy in our chip shop, he's been on.
Who?
The guy who's down our chip shop who thinks he's Elvis. He's been on. Anyway, don't worry. It was an attempt at humour which didn't work.
It failed all miserably.
I'm saying is...
It wasn't as good as the Hemorrhoid Harpoon I quoted earlier today.
It certainly wasn't. I feel chastened.
So, Unwanted Guests.
No, it's not Unwanted Guests, you idiot. It's Awkward Guests. 2016 Kickstarter.
There's at least a third different name you've been making for this game.
I gave the right name before.
You said uninvited earlier.
What we're going to do now, I've just found the Tom Vassell review, so if you don't mind, Gaby, I'm just going to play that into the microphone, and that'll let your...
Oh, my goodness.
That'll let your listeners know what's what.
So, did you like the game?
I did like the game. Yeah, I said I liked it. It's very good. It's very good. it's a deduction game which I could actually tolerate. I mean, I wouldn't want to play it every day, but no, it was interesting. And it had an interesting thing where you had bits of information which were worth various values and things, and you said, does anyone know anything about Mrs. Peacock in the study? And then people can pass you their cards about Mrs. Peacock in the study. But in order to see their cards, you have to give them a piece of information that's of equivalent value. And that was really interesting as well. It was good. It was interesting. That's what I played. I played Smartphone Inc., but you don't seem to be interested in board games on this podcast.
I am. I like Smartphone Inc. a lot.
It is. It's really good. It's really good.
Did you play... How many players did you play?
4, which is less than optimal, but still good. I think we used a normal size board.
We were playing 2 and 3 players on the normal size board. Then I bought the expansion that has the 2 and 3 player, and then you can play solo, which was much more tight, apt for that amount of players. It's a smaller board, and I liked it a lot. Jerry was like, I don't know, there was issue. He said actually, this is another one of those games we played and we forget we played and we therefore never discuss on a podcast. But I find it interesting. Anytime I win a board game, Jerry always has issues with it. And that seems to be the way it goes. But it's the Smartphone 2.0, expansion. And it's a smaller board for through 2 or 3 players, or it's got a solo mode. You can go against Steve.
I've got more friends than that, so I played the bigger one.
Yeah, we don't have many. I don't have many board game friends, Dan.
I know, and I've tried to find you some, but none of them are interested. Apparently, there's loads of board game groups around you, but they don't advertise publicly in case you turn up.
Nobody wants me.
There's all secret, closed Facebook groups.
I have played many a time here recently Istanbul on the app. There's an iPhone
app. A long time
app.
since I played that.
It's fine on the app. Here's the thing, and actually, again, Mark, the Green Tank, on one of their shows, he was saying, now if there's a digital implementation such as on BGA, they were specifically talking about BGA, that's where he wants to play it. And that's kind of become my thing. Like if there's an app or if it's on BGA where I can access this game and it's automatically set up, the rules are built into it so I can't make an illegal move, it's hard for me to not just want to go on there and play.
Have you thought about taking up computer games as a hobby instead of board games?
But here's the other thing. Speaking of which,
the twist in the tail, the copyright shuts it down, switcheroo. The copyright shuts it down,
mid-review reverse.
Mid-review switcheroo. Yeah.
I have sat in my couch many a time as I'm watching TV and
sat in your couch. Okay, yeah.
On my couch, in my couch.
In and on your couch, around your couch, sat around your couch, yep.
Over my couch.
Sprawled over your couch. Okay.
Sprawled upon my couch. And I'm thinking I could go into my room.
You could do.
Fire up the old laptop.
Yeah.
And play a digital board game. Or just play something on my Xbox that I'd really enjoy.
Yes, exactly.
So that's the thing. So when it comes between digital board gaming or play on my Xbox, I tend to choose my Xbox.
Yes.
But when I do play digital board games, I enjoy them. For instance, I played Innovation for the 3rd time ever, and only because it was on BGA, I actually understood what was going on.
Really? That must be the first time that's ever happened in a game of Innovation. You should write to Cal Chuddock and claim your prize.
There's 105 uniquely written cards, which respect, because I did not know that. Like every card is its own style. It's a lot, but also I understood. Well, my teacher Chasson, a listener of our show, I was playing with him, and he's like, "See these symbols off to the right? For the dogma effect to happen, where I can't do it, you have to have more than me." So, you have all those symbols and castles and there's all those symbols in this game. So basically you're just competing symbols against your opponent. If I have more symbols than you, I can power up this card and use it and you can't. But if I power up this card and use it when you have the same amount or more symbols, then you also get the effect. It's just that type of game. But this is the first time I've played Innovation and understood what was going on, because I played it 2 other times with Jerry. We have it here at the house. It's sitting right there. We've played it. I'm like, I'm just playing cards. I don't know what's going on. Jerry, tell me what I'm doing. And that's what it was very confusing to me. But
I don't like it at all for that reason.
But with BGA, it's all right there on the screen. I don't have to sit here and count up all these symbols on my side of the table and then count up the symbols on Jerry's side of the table. It's just bam, it's right there on the screen. And why anyone would ever play this more than 2-player is beyond me. But I enjoyed it on BGA. I really did.
Have you played Glory to Rome?
No, but I hear it's the exact same game, basically.
I don't know. I found it equally as confusing, so perhaps it is. But I think all Caltrodux games I've found incredibly confusing. I think he's just got it's too chaotic for my simple brain.
Well, I'm telling you, if you are you on BGA?
I don't want to play with your stinky listener on BGA.
No, me. I'll play it with you.
No, I'm not playing with you. That's even worse.
Are you on Board Game Arena? Do you have a name?
I think I probably do. A long time ago.
You signed up years ago and forgot about it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I played. I don't know. I'm not interested in playing online. I'm not interested. I appreciate that because this is interesting.
Is it?
This is not interesting because
you can't
it's the
say
same
those
reason
words.
I don't particularly enjoy playing solo games. Although I do play a few. I'm not really interested in playing a logic puzzle unless I get to rub my victory in someone's face to face afterwards, if that makes any sense. Even the multiplayer solitaire game, I'm interested in the experience of having other people to play with, not interested in the actual puzzle itself. I don't do Sudoku puzzles for fun. I don't do any puzzles for fun. When I sit down and play a solo game, I almost... My favourite solo games are ones that kind of wash over me, that I don't have many decisions in, because I'm not interested in the puzzle, I'm just interested in the kind of calm, meditative effect of it. And the... I don't... It's like... I'm just not interested in the challenge of beating my last score. So, yeah. I don't think BGA's for me, because I know you play with other people, but there's not the same interaction.
Yeah, well, I do. The only game I will play Lost Ruins of Arnak and Can't Stop with complete strangers. But pretty much like if it comes to a heavy game, or not heavy, just heavy, singular heavy, Yokohama or anything of that ilk, like I like to play with someone I know. And Board Game Snobs does have a group on BGA, which we have pretty much neglected. I've neglected. And then I was like, we have several listeners that are on BGA. So usually I'll hit one of them up and try to play a game with them. Because I'm the same way. I don't like to play a game that I'm invested in with a person that I'm not invested in.
Especially as some of the people you're not invested in are jerks as well. Some of the games I've had on BGA they've started losing, so they've quit, or they've all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that drives me absolutely. I've gotten to the point where I've finally played it enough times where even Can't Stop, I'll see somebody sign up for a game of Can't Stop at like 50% of quit rate, and I'll boot out. I'll quit the game and come back in because I don't want to play with somebody that quits. But I played Istanbul on the app, not BGA. The app is very nice. It's got music going. That's one thing I like about the apps, the iPhone apps, and I guess there are apps on other devices as well. But the apps have like music for your solo games, and you can play the AI
and they're quick, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's like I played Ticket to Ride on an app, to be fair, and it's just bang.
It'll ruin you.
5-minute game. Oh yeah.
You're sitting here. You don't have to wait on this person to make up their mind. You're just playing the robot. It's like makes these decisions very quickly.
In fact, I get impatient with the robots because they take 2 seconds to make their moves. And the animation goes on. I go, come on, when's it my turn again?
You got to go into settings and amplify their animation forward. I played Raiders of the North Sea on the app, and I've decided.
Go on.
Well, I don't want to. What do they call it? Yuck your yum?
Well, I was yucking your yum first, so you can yum my yuck if you wish.
Well, I've played Raiders to the point I'm done. It's in my top 5 all-time amount of games played. It's like viticulture. Well, Can't Stop's number one because you can play a Can't Stop game in 5 minutes. But it's like viticulture, Can't Stop, Raiders, and a couple other games. I have played Raiders to the point where I realize, I know it's just a racing game, basically. Collect your provisions, collect your gold, buy your people, go out and fight. One dies, collect your provisions, collect your gold, go out and fight. It's gotten repetitive to me at this point. But that's after 40-something games of it.
Which is fine, isn't it? I mean, it'd be a very good game indeed that can withhold.
Yes. When it first come out,
talking kind of Cora Quest levels.
I still... Dan Cora Quest Hughes, everyone.
Or maybe I made you a mixtape. Well, either one of those two games. That kind of level of replayability.
It is... Okay, I've played it 30 times. And I've played it. I'm done. I'm over it. Even Raiders of Scythia, which to me combines all the best elements of all those expansions.
That's the one I've just bought. That's what I was going to say. I've just bought that online yesterday. It's
the best version to me because it does combine the best elements of the expansions and Raiders of the North Sea. But I'm done. Like I've played it enough where I get it, and I will play it again because it's one of those games, and I loved it because I comprehended it very quickly. And whenever I do that in a game, I'm very happy because I'm very slow at comprehending games. I'm very slow.
It means it clicks with the way you think, which
does. And it's one of those games that, like, as soon as we played the first couple rounds, I was like, oh, okay. And it just provided this feeling to me of a satisfaction as I played the game. And I was in love with Raiders, and I don't know that it ever made my top 10 or so, but it was very, very close. But now at this point, I've played it to death. I'm not done with it. I won't say I'm done with it, but it's not... I actually sold all of my Raiders of the North Sea stuff.
Wow.
I had the mat. I had the Hall of Heroes. I had the Jarls one. I forget which one that is.
I had all the stuff.
I had all the stuff for it.
The Beanie Babies one.
And I sold it all.
The Pogs. Did you have the Funko Pops?
I had Raiders of the North Sea, the Pog Funko edition.
Yeah.
I sold it. I still have Raiders of Scythia, which is the same exact thing.
Better or worse art? Gaby?
I don't like it as much as... It's not as pretty.
I think it's better.
I don't like it because I liked the bright blues. I like the board of Raiders of the North Sea. To me, it was bright and cheery.
Do you like those mobiles you hang over your bed as well?
The Raiders of Scythia, to me, is...
the play mats you put down, you can spin a spinner and open a page in a book and stuff like that.
Scythia is lots of brown. Lots of brown in Scythia.
Earth tones is the way you describe that.
No.
Earth tones. Sophisticated earth tones.
Give me the bright blues of the North Sea.
Instead of Teletubbies bright blues. Yeah. Me and you have very different taste in games. I very different taste in everything. I don't think we'd get on in real life. If you weren't a figment of my imagination on the internet, I don't think we'd get on. I think I'd come around to your house and I'd go,
friends.
That game's rubbish. You don't like Libertalia, so you're an idiot. Airlines is a rubbish game.
Airlines? Wait, what?
I don't know. I've never played it. I'm just looking at
Airlines Europe.
Oh, right, whatever.
A fantastic game by Alan R. Moon.
Yeah. You need to stop making games. Greedy bugger. Let other people have a go. What's... Yeah.
Did you know...
I did. Oh, gosh.
That bowling balls, the finger holes in bowling balls have been found to contain substantial amounts of fecal contamination.
Yeah.
Do you go bowling in
especially after you've been
UK? Oh.
Well, I don't think it's as popular an activity as in the US, and I'm basing this on my extensive knowledge of the Flintstones. But yes, there are bowling alleys in the UK. Yes, I have been bowling.
There's a game, though, it may be a Canadian thing, where it's like a small ball and like candlestick pins. Maybe it's called Candlestick Bowling.
Is it called Pontoon?
No, that's not it.
Is it called Moose Ball?
But there's a game, I've seen it because someone mentioned on a previous podcast of ours, instead of a large bowling ball, it's like a ball that could fit in the palm of your hand, and it's more like you just throw it really fast, and the pins are a lot thinner.
Maybe that's just a natural thing of, Canadians generally being thinner than Americans.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, those finger holes full of
feces.
Feces.
Yeah. Anywhere where you stick your fingers full of feces.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
It's coating a thin film of it coats every item in your kitchen. Thin microscopic film of feces. Come on. Next interesting fact. He's got like pieces of paper. He's like a newsreader. He's got pieces of paper on one side. He's got his iPad on the other. He's
got
like
so many things going on.
He's like tapped into the matrix of useless, boring facts.
I also played.
Oh.
Pause for edit point. I also I'm going to edit you out, Dad. I'm going to edit you out, Dad.
Go with
I also played Scythe on the app. The iOS app Scythe.
I thought you were going to say something interesting then.
No, I'm not going to say anything interesting. Scythe, the game, and what the app told me was the exact same feelings I have for the game. It's not that interesting. Like, there's this massive, beautiful board. You have all these beautiful pieces. You have, especially if you have, the deluxe edition with all those Stonemaier bits. And then the game's over before it really even begins. Do you like Scythe? I know Scythe is your co-creative partner, Mike DeLizio. It's all about the solo mode. And solo mode, name of his defunct video podcast. I've played it solo. I've played it with 6 players. I've played it with 5. I've played it on the app.
It's no good unless you play it with 4.
Well, I've played it with 4 players.
Oh, 3, I meant 3.
I've played it with every amount. I've played it with every amount.
Have you played it with 10?
No, I don't think it goes up that high.
No, you can play in teams though. Play with 12 with everyone on a team, just huddled around the board, all squished up.
And
I tell you what is good. Shut up, I'm talking now. Tell you what is good. Ticket to Ride in teams is good. There's a Ticket to Ride expansion which is teams, and that's great.
Oh, it's
the most fun. It's the most fun. I think it might be India.
Which one is it?
It could be India, or I think it's some kind of Asian
Here
country.
we go. That's where we go. Just talk about a game you don't know which one you're even talking about.
Shut your face. Go on then. Let's talk about Scythe some more, because that's a topic that hasn't been covered before.
Well, you said be quiet, let you talk. Now you're saying let me talk.
I've finished speaking now. You're allowed to speak. Scythe, I agree with you. I think Scythe is blandness personified.
It is the most. It gets you with the little mix. It gets you with the little the coal and the food and the gold, and it gets you with all the little Stonemaier bits. But the game is really not that exciting. Like half the time, I've made a log. I've made another person. The game's over. It's like, to me, the potential is there, but they just missed the mark somehow. It's just not that interesting of a game.
Well, I would argue, and many people would disagree with me, that that's the very definition of Stonemaier games. I think he does a very good job of hype.
At this point, after Tapestry, Pendulum, it's all about hype and production over quality and mechanisms of gaming.
Yeah, I think he doesn't make bad games though, and I think that's where I would give him a bit of a pass. I don't think it's a deliberate kind of. I think he's better at hype than he is at games. If that makes any sense, he's a better marketer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Than he is at games. I don't think he's a bad game maker. I think he's
Red Rising. Red Rising.
I've not played it. I played Tapestry, which was okay. When I say okay,
you know what made it okay? The production. The gameplay was super basic.
But it wasn't his game though. Well, he didn't design it. But even as a publishing company, Stonemaier Games put out decent games with great production values. And even better marketing.
His last game, Red Rising, everybody was talking about it, and literally every review I saw of it said, I've forgotten the game it emulates and has ripped off most of its stuff from. Hero Quest, not Hero Quest. There's some game that everyone said, oh, we like this game, but this game is better. And whatever the mechanics that he used in his game of Red Rising, everyone almost to a T said, yeah, this game is fine, but the game it took these mechanics from is better. And I didn't do any research, so I can't tell you the name of the game.
You're allowed to do it, but I'm not. Is that right? It's Team Asia. That's the Ticket to Ride.
We're going back to Team Asia. All righty.
It's really good. I recommend anyone who likes Ticket to Ride play, because you're playing on the same, so you score the same points, but you're playing separate games. It's really interesting.
I saw Ben. We're going to completely leave Red Rising where it was. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Jerry played it. Jerry played it at BGG and said it's one of the worst game he's ever played in his life. He hated it. Ben Maddox played Ticket to Ride United Kingdom, which was when it came out here, there was a Pennsylvania map and the United Kingdom map on the other side.
Yeah. That's the same as here. Yeah.
I don't have a Ticket to Ride, super basic game. I get that. It's not something we would go to play because it's a lighter than I enjoy at this point in my board gaming career. But I would like to play. I want to play Markland. I want to play the Nordic countries, and I'd like to play the United Kingdom map.
United Kingdom's really good. It's quite a complex game. It certainly bumps up the heaviness. I mean, it's not massively complex, but it's certainly more complex than Ticket to Ride normally would be.
I would like to play it.
It's good. It's good. It takes a bit more learning. That's why I got rid of it ultimately. And the other thing is it doesn't have Huddersfield on it, which is a travesty. But other than that...
Do you have a game group that you play with, or is it just whoever you can corral?
I've now kind of developed a game group I play with, yes. That come round to my house every second Friday.
Second Friday of what? The month?
Of every 2 Friday. One Friday goes... No, you idiot.
Every other Friday.
Well, yeah, whatever. The same thing every fortnight. No. I was trying to avoid saying every fortnight because I know you don't even speak English properly.
Fortnite's a video game. What are you talking about?
Right, that's it. I've had enough of this. I'm going to press stop and I'm going to press delete on this recording because the blatant anti-English prejudice has yet again risen its head. And just because we say...
George Washington! Washington!
Yeah? Had wooden teeth. Is that the man with wooden teeth?
I think that was a false rumor.
Ah.
He had all his teeth. What about King George? Did he have all his teeth?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I don't know. He was mad. Depends which King George.
Mad King really? George. It was Mad King George. He was the one around during the Revolution, right?
Yeah, I think so. He had syphilis, I think, which is why he was mad.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about English history, so I don't know why we got onto this topic. How do I not know much about...
Ask me a question about American history. Go.
Okay. Who built the Empire State Building?
That's not American. That's
what
architectural history.
All right. What famous city was New York named after?
I want to go with York, Dan.
Amsterdam. It was New Amsterdam originally, surely, wasn't it?
I don't know. You know what?
You see?
I'm with you. All right. You know what? I don't know my own history either. Well, Dan, thank you for coming on as primary guest host. You're always reliable. The always reliable Dan Hughes. Always reliable.
Dependable. That's what I am.
Thanks for coming on, Dan. I truly appreciate. You know, sometimes we joke around, but I truly appreciate it.
I take that sincere thanks and I return it to you. I thank you very much for having me on. It's been an honour, a pleasure. I respect both you and Jerry as broadcasters.
It's unfortunate
I think you do a marvellous job.
Ben Maddox didn't answer his phone first, and I had to give you secondarily. And then Richard Simpson didn't answer his phone. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll try old Dan. And then Dan's like, oh, sure. I have nothing else to do.
He wanted to come on with me. And he said no. I said, do you fancy coming on Snobs? And he said, no, I don't.
You're your primary guest host. I came to you first and foremost, and as usual, you're like, I have nothing else to do with my life. Yes, sir. I'm here to promote. I made a mixtape for you.
Thank you. Let's end this debacle.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.